Right, we're playing with the new Defender today, and what we're going to do is we're going to try and drive it up our display ramps so we can have a look underneath. So we're also going to raise the suspension into off-road mode so we've got even more visibility when we get under there. But really it's just a bit of a thing to play with, the extended height mode, and also we are going to put it in low range to make it easier to maneuver. So we've got Gary sat in the car. He's not driven the Defender before, or driven up a set of ramps before, or used any of these things, so we've run through it quickly, but he hasn't actually done it yet. But I'm hoping to show that the new Defender makes things like reversing up ramps and stuff easy and more accessible to novices, because the brakes will hold it as we start going up the hill and stuff like that. So that's the intended purpose of the video. Right then, right, so let's have a look, Gary. Right, Gary's got the keys, Gary's flying it. Right, so the first thing we are going to do is we are going to put the car in extended mode. So that's it, make sure I'm pointing. So you've got the up there, so when you press that up then, Gary, you can see the light. Now when it reaches height, the light will extinguish. So I'm leaning in through the window and it's taking my arm off, but we're doing fine. Right, there you go, the height. So we are now in off-road mode. So now you can see we've got it jacked up. In fact, it's sitting, that's sitting pretty high. Now apparently there are two modes. There's mode 1, and I forget the figures, it like raises it like 45 millimeters or something. Another one raises it 70, I forget the exact, 75. Is it 40 and 75? Yeah, so there's two modes, but it doesn't tell you. It says the car will decide which of the two modes it'll tell you. Now the other thing we did actually, Gary, do you want to go back to the home screen on the navigation? Let me open the door and lean in now. Right, so on the home screen, there we go, you can go on to the apps, which is that little thing there, and then you can select the vehicle dimensions. And then it's got two modes. It's got on-road and off-road. So if you select the off-road mode, you can see there it gives you the heights and the approach angles and everything, which is quite cool. So we've put that on. Now, for reversing up the ramp, I don't think you could put the cameras. You could put it into camera mode, Gary. So if you click that one there, and then you should see the 360-degree camera as we go back. But I will be directing you up the ramps. And right, so actually next thing, right, so that's now in high. We're now going to put it in low mode. So if I press this one, now it should give you a message on the screen. Can you hold the camera there, Gary?
Yeah, it's saying to select neutral to engage low range.
Right, I'll let you do that then, Gary. I'll close the door. So put your foot on the brake, put it into neutral.
There you go, it's in neutral.
Yeah, show people the light there. So we got it in neutral there, and then it's the low.
It's saying low range selected. It come up on the dash.
Selected on the dash. Brilliant. And the light's all good there. Right. So that should now enable you when you go back. It's being in like, rather than being in first, it should be in like being in like a 10th gear. It should go back real slowly. So right, I'll go to the back. So we're going to try and get up these ramps. So right then, Gary, if you want to come straight-ish back. That's right. Yeah, you're doing okay. Maybe this way a little bit. Yeah, it's good, you're fine. You're doing spot on, Gary. That's it. I haven't even got my foot on the accelerator now. No. Right, now you might have to accelerate a little bit. That's it. Does that feel easy to control? Yeah. Now if you take your foot off the accelerator, you'll notice it should hold it. Was that? So it holds it, it doesn't slip away. Now we're getting a little bit off on this one, but keep going, I think it'll come good. That's it. That's it, it's getting better. Bit more. Keep going. Keep going. You're doing fine, Gary. You're doing fine. Bit more. Yep. A little bit more. That'll do. Right then. So if you want to press park, put it in park. Right. And I've heard the brakes go on. Stop the engine. Right, now you've got to get out carefully. Don't fall getting out because you are up high now, right? Right, so one thing I wanted to show you, yeah, Gary, you can have my camera case. So one thing I wanted to do was have a look underneath the car that everyone wants to know. And it's quite interesting. So let's start with the exhaust. So first things first, we've got the 2 litre petrol, and I was looking on the parts catalogue the other day, and apparently it's only the petrol with the 2 exhausts. The diesels have got 2 exhausts on one side, so we can see the exhaust. Right, obviously we've just demonstrated the air suspension. You can see we've got the air, and there's a lot of people are going, oh no, you can't do with air what you can do with coil springs, but we'll leave that debate for now. So you can see the suspension bags. Interesting, I was looking at the main hub, and I've got a handy little magnet here for me. Now the main hub carrier is aluminium, which is really good for lightweight. In fact, even that brake caliper there is non-magnetic. And this whole lower arm here, this whole lower arm is one big casting, and that is all non-magnetic, so it's a lightweight alloy of some sort. So Land Rover have obviously gone to some expense to make this all aluminium, and not only does it reduce the weight of the whole car, there's a thing where it's called unsprung mass, where if the bit that's bouncing up and down is lighter, then it's easier to control. So they've done quite a lot of effort to reduce the unsprung mass. Also, you'll notice we've got the handbrake motor is actually on the caliper, so we've got no handbrake cables running anywhere, and that's a lot better than the old Discovery 3 and Discovery 4, where they had lots of problems with the electronic brake module. It also allows it to do some pretty cool tricks as well. Right, so let's have a look. What else have we got on here? So we've got the main diff casing on here. Now this one I think has got the diff lock capability, but I think again it's all controlled by the ECUs when we put it in off-road mode, so I think that'll all be controlled. I don't need to worry about it. The next thing that struck me was how many underguards they've got on the car. Now that's great for off-roading, but it's also great for fuel economy, because if a car is aerodynamic on the top, that's great, but you can still get a lot of wind drag underneath. So I was more than happy to see all this shielding under here, right? And as we go to the front, you'll see, and we have got some more substantial, but again, they're non-magnetic as well. In fact, there was another thing I was going to show you, was up at the back there, the floor pan is, I mean, I can see a bit of chassis here. Yeah, and again, that is non-magnetic. That chassis rail you can see there is non-magnetic. There's a, but there you go. There are some bits that just to prove I'm doubting myself whether my magnet actually worked for a minute. Yeah, the exhaust is magnetic. So there we go. So there's the front suspension, and again, if I just slide forward, you can see that the whole front hub, the hub carrier, is all alloy. There's the extensive use of alloy. That lower arm here looks alloy. Oh no, that's cast. That's cast iron, that one. They've made it look alloy with that finish, but the main hub carrier there is all, and even it looks like the disc shield, which used to rust, they've done those in aluminium too. So I think they have selected and chosen their materials carefully. There you go, you can see all there's a little bit where the diff hangs out there. And then if we look back to the back, there you go. So there we go. So that's just a little video just playing with the off-road mode, playing with the lower show. Actually, Gary, do you want to jump back in and let's see if you can drive it down safely as well? So you're still in low ratio. You can use your brakes, but you should feel it's not running away from you. So there we go, but I don't think you'd want to be trying that in an old Defender on video, would you, Gary? No. There you go. I hope you find that interesting.